Anyways, welcome back to the Peak Podcast. Although this isn't the Peak Podcast because we're actually here in person. We're going to be talking about transportation as we see here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And
Yes.
as you can see, nowadays, pretty much every household has a car or two. And we have paved roads, if not gravel roads. But how did we get here? And how come this is how society is today? Major developments such as being able to use horses, wagons, and so on have really changed the way we've lived today. And traded, and we've built cities around the idea of cars, buses, trains, planes, etc., right? And it's a social thing. Like everyone gets together how? By driving to them. You got racing events. So it's like a whole shebang of culture and like socializing. There you go. Kitty
Okay.
shot.
3,
Yeah, I got my
2,
badge.
1, go. So transportation developed from walking paths. It went from animal travel and then into roads, and we used animals like horses and donkeys and stuff. We then created wagons, and then that kind of developed into cars, trains, boats, airplanes, everything you see today.
So each development, as you can probably tell, it just gets faster and faster because the whole goal of transportation is to get to point A to point B as fast as you can. So you don't want to walk for 50 million years to just get to your friend's house. So we've developed the next best thing, and it just continues on. Otherwise, we'll still be walking to this day. And it changed how people. Oh, cat. We've got a best friend right now. Its name is, I think, Poppy. It's a cute kitty. Anyways, so it's changed how cities have grown. Because as you probably see in the 1930s or actually 1800s, you got little dirt pathways with horse poo all over it. Now we got paved roads with garbage all over it. So fair enough, or potholes in it. So we went from horses trotting around to now cars with horsepowers, and it's just better cars. We've upgraded all the way to electric cars now too, which people either that might actually be one of the advanced people are not going to hop on because why?
Some people.
Some people.
It's like,
Some people.
it's an acquired taste.
It's an acquired taste. But yeah, transportation also meant for all the way back to for example, Egypt. I bet one of the ways they were super good at trading was because they had the river. They're really good at transporting goods back and forth to Egypt from other places, and that's how they made their empires grow, was through being able to transport armies, trade goods, and so on. And this connected the world through now airplanes and boats and trains. I think that's pretty cool.
And this is how a lot of empires and big countries actually developed and became, big. Like the Roman Empire, for example, you had a bunch of roads and stuff, and the phrase "all roads connect to Rome." That's the reason why it was so powerful, because all the roads, they had so many roads to control its whole country, and that's why it didn't fall apart so easily. It lasted hundreds of years because of roads. Tough. Okay, so before cars, before boats and trains and stuff like that, humans used their feet. So this was the earliest way of transportation, was just walking around and stuff. And from walking around, humans would actually follow natural paths. They would follow rivers, and they would follow just like seasonal routes that were created naturally. So you could see where civilization was started, near rivers. That's because humans followed the rivers. They only built near the rivers, and then from that, walking trails were kind of the first roads were created.
The cat banged its head again. uh, Shout out to Poppy.
Yeah, shout out to Poppy.
So yeah, in early human development, you're thinking of horse and carriages and all that. That is a big part. People always had their horses then, and as we all have their cars, most households would have a horse either at a stable or in their backyard. But that's not only horses. We got donkeys, mules, and they would haul butt. Like those things are strong. And yeah, they would haul like all sorts of goods with their wagons. That's why I don't know if you hear the Persian mule, they work till they're dead. And so we also got camels for when it's hot and through the desert, right? Because they don't need a lot of maintenance when it's hot out. They just tank through. So animals have been used for transportation for many, many, many years in the past. And now you still even see people using horses or the Amish using wagons, right? Because it's the way of how we've got to this. I think that's all I need to
And
talk
trunks. Okay, yeah.
about. Huh? And trunks?
And trunks. Yeah. Domesticated animals were a big step in human culture
Speaking of horse.
because it allowed people to start migrating to new regions, and that allowed to the kind of shared culture from not just like certain villages, but to regions, to big regions. It also allowed humans to not be limited by their own strength. So that means that they could move and haul like how Kai said, you can move stuff from point A to point B really
Sir.
fast and really efficiently. You could haul like I don't know all your family stuff. I don't know what you have 4,000 years ago. But what would you have like
A horse.
a horse? But what else like to move with the
Oh,
horse?
you need the horse and you need the wagon.
Yeah,
If you don't have the wagon, then what good is the horse?
facts. And you can move all your stuff in your house to somewhere else if you're moving to like some I don't know
Yeah, you
other
need to get
village.
those apples off your tree to town to sell them. You
Exactly.
can't bring it in your pockets unless you want to do the old shirt scoop method, but that only may be 6 apples good. But how are you going to hold on to the horse? You need a
Exactly.
wagon.
Yeah.
And then wheels. Best human development for transportation is the wheel. If that was a chalkboard, I think I could have got a perfect circle. Yeah. I hope the microphone got that. So, Mr. Horsey was getting mad at us. Doesn't like getting his business shared. Kitty's leaving, maybe. Sad. Sad day. But what's not sad, the wheel. So, from the website Britannica, there's a quote that says, a Sumerian erect pictograph dated about 3,500 BC shows a sledge equipped with a wheel. Isn't that pretty cool, man?
That's like the first instance of vehicles. So you see, we have these. It's like the first
My shoes?
instance of
Oh,
these.
the car.
No, the cars, the wheels.
Well, these help in transportation, actually.
Yeah.
The shoes that protect our feet from walking. Those are dated back to, I don't know. And the wheels get put on carts. And same thing, rather than dragging your thing across the street, you pull it on the wheels. Wheelbarrows are much better than dragging a bunch of dirt without anything, because then your dirt's all in your lawn. That's no good. So you have a cart and a wheel. Yeah,
Wheel.
wheel. I did. I was talking about wheelbarrows. Close enough. Why does a random cat, it's not Sean's, I pull up to Sean's house and this cat just like literally cuddled. And he never met me before. Or she, sorry. Well, nowadays you don't even know. Anyways, this cat just literally jumps in my legs and is like, pets, pets now. See, look at this little guy. Come here. Yeah, get over here. You know who's coolest. See, this cat doesn't know even probably who they are, but it knows I'm a cuddle bug. And it is too. Isn't that right? Oh, this is a thumbnail right here. Okay.
So yeah, you were talking about like wheelbarrows and like
Yeah.
you know farmers giving out apples.
Yeah.
Same thing for merchants. They had to sell their stuff. They had to put it in wagons and wheelbarrows, and also for armies. So a lot of times, big armies they in the olden days before like the wheel, they just ran at them because that was ancient times. But with the wheel, with horses and that kind of transport, they could move their people. They could move 4 or 5 people in just one wheelbarrow, and that could take off a lot of strain and a lot of stress off the soldiers.
I want to go
And
home.
armies could actually move supplies easier as well. So like in the Napoleonic Wars, they used it to move food and stuff like that. Yeah. And it supported the growth of civilizations. And it kind of it really accelerated the growth of humanity, and it kind of led to the development of cities.
So, we've been talking a lot about land and stuff like that, but hear me out. Water. I know, right? The Avatar, earth, water, air, fire. Turns out we have transportation for all. Actually, we do have some about fire. We got rockets. Anyways, besides the point. Water. We have boats. And you've been on a ferry probably. If you haven't, you're lame and no one likes you. So you got ferries, you got boats. So boats help you transfer over canals, rivers, oceans, lakes, etc. Any body of water that me drowned if I go in, you can cross. This not is about just transportation either. You got fishing, you got scuba diving, and all that stuff. But how do you get there on a boat? Boats are the way. Boats are peak. So yeah, you got ferries that like help you bring cars full of like your transportation on a transportation transport. You also got cargo boats, right? They hold a bunch of like they also hold cars to ship. You got like so in a capitalism like we got products that we gotta move. Some are too big, some are small. We got big cargo ships that haul it from all the way to China to the US or from anywhere all over the world. And it's just easier because airplanes expensive to fly. Boats, you just send a boat with a crew that gets like overpaid or underpaid, depends on the country, and just let them sleep on a boat. It does take a bit, but still, it's one of the safest ways to bring goods to other things. You also got pirates, which are cool as heck. And warfare even's on the water too. You got the Navy. You also got pirates, like I said. And then how the British colonized was by boats. How the French did their thing by boats. Boats are cool. Way before cars.
So this just water transport, it kind of accelerated the globalization of many countries. So like Kai said, the British. Um, it allowed the spread of their culture and allowed the world to have kind of a common culture. So this is where it was through boat travel. Places from long distances. So you could say the British and their spice trade. That was allowed to happen, and that allowed people from across the world to connect thousands and hundreds of thousands of years ago. Alongside merchants, technology, religion, art, that all moved alongside them. So yeah,
Oh,
the
hi.
a lot of culture in the world was spread around through ships, and that made kind of a common culture on, on Earth. Roads and highways. It was so ships were kind of like they had these routes. They were kind of like highways of the ocean, and it's still the same today. But there were also highways on land. So as societies grew, so did roads. They connected different civilizations to each other. So, for example, ancient Mesopotamia, the Mesopotamians, believe it or not, they weren't just one group of people. They were into separate, different governments, and so these different kind of civilizations, these different cities, had to be connected to each other somehow, and that was through roads.
All right, me and Sean here. We're gonna be going to Don's, which is an innovation. Yeah, we got the drive-through now.
So as roads grew, so did trading, farming, and just everything else. Because bigger roads meant more things were able to be transported, more people on the roads, right?
So, guys, you should watch our modern Italy, which is supposed to be Roman, because this next point is Romans. Romans built really, really complex roads back then. They had a drainage system, they had stone bricks lined up perfectly, and this made it so that they could be transporting armies so much faster, transporting good to their armies so that they don't starve, and just helped it so they can like outmatch every other army out there. they were so fast because of their transportation was so good, right? It was like efficient. They can just go, go, go. That was it. And yeah, you can just be better than everyone. They had their roads not just being dirt, right, or grass. It was an actual stone, so it didn't deteriorate as fast, and it was more smoother for carts to go on. Because I'm sure as you go down the terrace roads and your tire smokes one of those potholes, it's not good for it, is it? So what they did was doing stone bricks lined down with drainage, so it kept the road in good maintenance. So that way it didn't totally go kaput, and the drainage helped so it wouldn't get flooded. So overall, it was starting to see what you have right now. As I can see on Sean's road, pavement, and then drainage system so it doesn't flood. And that comes from the Romans.
Yeah, and this was a really it's a big challenge for them because of course it wasn't perfect. There were a lot of floods back then in the Roman times, and a lot of people died due to disease because it would come back up through the drainage systems because they weren't perfect. But it was kind of
better.
it was a baseline for what we have today.
Yo, how does it feel that we're better than the Romans?
Bro, we're just to go.
We're just
Look at this thing. This was $750,000 divided by 100. Actually, I think
All right, guys. Good morning. We went to bed last night.
Yeah.
As you can see, the sun's over here. It's not over there. Coffee time.
Yeah.
So
waterways were the most efficient transport systems available, and that was from Rodrigue. So talking about the rivers, this is also from Rodrigue. The first civilizations emerged along the river systems for agriculture and trading purposes. So that's why rivers kind of developed there, and then that made it into road routes because humans would just stay near the water so they could survive, and they didn't need to go far away from the river in ancient times, so that's why they didn't. That's why roads were first created near the river.
yeah,
Right, and then that's good.
because of boats, guys.
Wait, am I talking about boats?
I don't know. You talked about roadways being around the river, so I'm assuming they use rivers to float their stuff down for transportation.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so that's why rivers were really the first sort of highway, because people go fast down rivers to go down, and it was just sufficient. If you can float your stuff down, that means you don't need to lift it, and it's just free movement because the water is going downwards. So are you. Unless you need to
Yeah.
go up the water, then that's not happening. It's
Then
called
that would be
drown.
probably land. You probably
Yeah.
go by land.
That's why probably the roads by the rivers, they go up the river and
Yeah.
then they go down the river.
And then you can follow it to the next civilization.
like a water slide.
Wow. Water slide.
From the Roman road system website is in all the Romans built 50,000 miles or equivalent to 80,000 kilometers of hard serviced highways, primarily for military reasons. So they had like I was saying before, their bricks laid out in a very good way that they don't break apart, and they're just aura.
So Roman roads also allowed the spread of Christianity to happen. So that kind of spread Christianity from just like Rome and just like one part of Europe, and it spread it to the whole empire through roads, through messengers, and through just people being able to reach other distant civilizations in the Roman Empire. The Roman road system made possible for Roman conquest and administration. This is from the Roman road system website again.
Like I was saying.
Yeah.
How it changed the world. So, canals made transportation cheaper and less, like, when I say expenses, that's like paying men to go slave to carry it above land, or you can float it down the canal. The way, like, if you can just keep something above the water without sinking it, then it's just so much easier on everyone. The body, the money, you just float it down the river, right? So canals made it way easier to move heavy cargo from point A to point B, and that was like before trains and big trucks can haul it for us. So rather than having these heavy machinery, they just put it on rafts and floated it down a canal, and it helped for kind of like ferries for large amounts of people. That helped for moving heavy cargo, whatever the cargo may be. Human trafficking maybe probably too back then. You never know. Anyways, that's what canals were. They were like the early trains and ferries and all sorts of stuff.
So the Industrial Revolution changed transportation because machines replaced other things like wagons, horses. Those are all replaced by machines. So if that didn't happen, instead of these, we'd be on horses.
Some people still are.
Yeah,
'Cause they don't like cars.
they're on horses,
But
But
I
then
bet you they can't do pulls.
and they shit on roads.
The train. We got steam-engine trains, right? Like you got those big old locomotives. That was like one of the biggest areas that people can travel across the countries, like especially Canada with the CN rail. It opened up a lot of jobs for people to work on, and then people are amazed that they can go from the other end of Canada to the other end, and it was just awesome. So people, that was the first big major load of transportation, right, through a
Yeah.
long train that can suit over hundreds of peoples,
Yeah.
to go there to there, rather than a group of people going on their long trek, like during the gold rush time. I think they had the trek all like a long way, and a lot of people died. Now they can just take a train, right? They just go, meow.
And it's way faster.
And it was fast too. Like we were saying, the biggest advancements to transportation is being able to get to point A to point B the fastest and efficient. So this could haul a lot of people really fast. So this was, I would say, one of the biggest breakthroughs in human transportation. And it's not only did it for people, it could haul cargo from all over the world, especially from the US into Canada, where you can haul coal, gravel, all sorts of stuff, right? Through trains. Military, even to this day, when we haul militarized like tanks, they're on trains getting hauled from there to there, because it's one of the most efficient way to haul like thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds without breaking a sweat is through a train.
The Industrial Revolution allowed mechanized transportation systems, expanding mobility at the local and global levels. So that's basically what Kai said, and that is from Mr. Rodrigue. So not only did they like just transport things, though that transportation of goods of people created a new like system of market. It created a brand new market, and that kind of pushed the world economy a lot more.
The Canada's largest rail network, which is the CN, transports more than $250 billion in goods each year. So that really kind of signifies, like, since the CN's railroads got completed, it's like one of the biggest transport lines Canada has to offer. And like, it's how most of our good gets going. I'm sure in Terrace we all like cuss and complain on, oh, the train's here, can't go over the railroad now, right? But like, that's like goods.
Yeah. So imagine how important it was. If it's this important right now, imagine how important it was like
Then
100, 200 years
when
ago.
we didn't have airplanes and big old semi trucks freighting everything there, and
The bicycle. So the bicycle became popular before cars were common. So yeah, cars were made around this time, but they weren't that common. They were really, really rare. So a bicycle was way cheaper than having a horse because it just was way cheaper. It was way cheaper to create, way cheaper to maintain. You don't have to feed a bicycle. You don't have to feed a bicycle, right? It also gave people a lot more personal freedom. So parts like gears, chains, rubber tires, those were all created for the bike, and that kind of was the precursor to cars. It was the
motorcycles.
and motorcycles, yeah. So this was kind of like the baseline for cars and motorcycles and stuff like that. Newer motorized vehicles.
Okay.
So the automobile, it just did everything that the horse could do, but better.
Yeah,
So look at these things.
working on efficiency. These go faster. They hold more people and more cargo. And then from automobiles, you got like these to trucks to semi trucks.
Yeah, and you could just go from point A to point B way faster, and you could travel way longer.
And guess what? You can bring the annoying screaming baby in the back seat with you.
Exactly. So, like for example, indigenous people used to travel from here. I think they traveled to Prince Rupert,
I think so, yeah.
and it took them. They would follow the river or followed certain paths, and that would take them about 2 to 3 days.
Good reference.
Whole
yeah.
days, yeah. So now, how long does that take? The highway to Prince Rupert
About an
is
hour.
what?
2
Like,
hours almost.
2 hours, 1.5 hours. if
Yeah,
you're speeding a
Yeah,
bit.
roughly.
Yeah.
See?
So you know how big of a difference.
And it's a
that is?
pretty road to go on too.
Exactly. And this kind of connects the whole world together, and that kind of leads into roads and highways. So roads and highways are kind of like footpaths from.
Coffee stain, man. Hope that comes out. Damn it. Okay, continue.
So this kind of leads into roads and highways. So roads and highways, they connect the whole world together way better than like just dirt roads or like brick roads or whatever. So when I was talking about the Roman Empire and how it kind of connected that whole region together, the whole region of Europe together. So it's the same thing with roads. Roads connect the world. They connect culture. They allow for transport way easier, and this easy transport allows the trading of goods. It allows the trading of culture. Just way more connection, and I think that's why Canada, like you can use Canada for example. The whole country has kind of a common shared culture. If it didn't have roads, if it didn't have these highways that connected the whole country, we would be a lot different and we might not be one country. We might be different, like
Yeah.
different little states because we're just nothing alike.
Yeah, I think, well, each, like, town would be so, like,
Different. It'd be
what's
so
isolated.
Isolated, yeah.
Like, yeah, isolated. You don't get the experience and share culture with different people from around the world or even in Canada.
And businesses started moving closer to highways, and also cities started building their roads on highways instead of like near rivers anymore. So you could put a city anywhere, and it would be good because a highway would be with it. A highway would be connected to it. Before, it would have to be near a river, and then you would follow that river into a different place. But roads and highways kind of changed that, changed the whole layout of the world.
Public transport is, like, a really big thing for also social connection. So you got planes, you got you got buses, you got trains, you got subways, you got sky trains, right, in Vancouver. They help if you're not able to bring a car, if you afford a car, you just don't want to drive. It's more efficient to hop on the bus in Vancouver or the SkyTrain to go to a mall, to your town, to work, for example, because it's so fast, so efficient. You got many people on that, and it works out super fast. A quote from the Wright Flyer was the first plane. It came out in 1903, right? December 19th. They first flew that plane, just being paper and like on wings, because they wanted to fly. Because the humans, we want to do the things that seem impossible. Airplanes, like, really help us connect throughout the world, right? Immigrating to different parts of the world or Canada, all over the world, you need an airplane to fly because it's faster than taking a boat or a train, even in some parts. But yeah, planes are just so efficient. They do cost money, but if you can fit like hundreds of people on a plane to fly all across the world, it's so much faster than taking a 14-day cruise. But on a plane, it's just so efficient. You're going fast. You get to point A to point B fast, and you can haul a lot of people. You got your luggage and comfortable, like you said. Well, not necessarily more in economy, but still, it's not too long, right? So yeah, I would say that's airplanes. It helps us connect throughout the world. It's a really big advancement, and it's fast.
Yeah.
Rocket ships. Those are the biggest thing that we still.
Did you see the quote?
I did.
Okay.
So yeah, rocket ships, I would say, is our biggest advancement that we're working on currently. Like what happened in the past with the space race against the U.S., China, and Russia, was who can get to space fastest and most efficiently. Because whoever had space fastest were most dominant at the time because they showed they had better technology and they could do things faster. And they can start working in space and starting Star Wars. Like, and whoever can get to Mars fastest can be like the more superior one. So who, like, space travel is like a whole different thing out of our brains right now, but maybe
It's kind of the
not
future.
and yeah, not necessarily in the future. But that's the biggest, I'd say, advancement we're working on currently. Just like the space thing that happened around the moon. And it's so advanced that people are saying it's fake. Yeah.
So space travel and the future of space travel, it's going to change the world because whoever gets that first is going to control the market. It's going to they're going to be powerful. Like for example,
they're going to become the new Jawas.
You could say the U.S. makes it to Mars first. They're going to have such a big advantage, and that's going to change the whole world. The whole culture of the world.
Democracy,
They're going to
capitalism.
have so much power, or if China makes it there first, they're gonna have so much power. They're gonna be able to extract resources, make early developments,
Heck yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, I would say it's like the space race. Who can get there fastest and most efficiently wins the race.
It's like a second space race.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so.
Like when Neil Armstrong landed on the moon in
That was peak.
1962. That's a quote from
A website.
just put it right here, the website.
Yeah.
So like that was a huge moment for the U.S. and it was a huge moment for the space race because it kind of defined who was gonna win. Same thing with Mars, and the same thing with whoever does the next big advancement. They're gonna have lots of power. They're gonna have a big advantage, and that'll change the culture of the world. We saw that with the fall of the USSR, partly due to the loss of the space race.
Yeah. So overall, transportation is the really biggest thing about our culture because it changes how we function today. Different advancements that we've made in the past help us get to where we are now, and where we are now will help us be where we are in the future. Watch us in 30 years and maybe we'll find out.
And then when these advancements happen, they kind of influence the whole world around them.
Yeah.
So they may seem like we don't really think about how roads were
Self-driving
created.
cars.
Self-driving cars.
That it was a big impact in like 2019, like when it
Yeah.
first came out. I think what it was. Everyone was like, "What the hell? No,
Yeah.
this can't be yours." Like people were like, "This is awesome." Some people like hate this, right?
Yeah.
And like it's starting to have our little robots on the side of the road doing delivery service. You got cars that just drive you as like a taxi cab without a driver. It like is changing how we do driving.
Not just how we drive, but how we live in
Mhm.
particular. So I think now there's like taxis or like Ubers
Yeah.
that drive themselves.
Yeah, I was just saying that. Yeah.
That-
yeah.
Right now, that's not normal, especially here.
weird.
That's not normal. But in maybe a few decades, that might be just the complete
way
new
of life.
norm, the way of life. And like the
Subscription,
new
$100 a month to have a self-driving car from Tesla.
that probably will happen.
Probably.
And to us,
Transport fees.
that seems weird, right? But to our kids, to the next generation, and the generation after that, that may seem completely normal. Just like how phones and the internet, it's not normal to the older generation, to your generation. But Mr. Dosanjh, that's your generation. But like, it's normal to us, right?
Yeah.
Laptops, phones, we can traverse
Heck
around
yeah.
that. It's really normal for us because we were born into that. Same thing with whatever technology comes next, whatever AI comes next. Yeah.
Peek
Peek out.
Yeah. Bye-bye.